And the U.S. is targeting the so-called shadow fleet of ships that illegally transport oil from sanctioned nations like Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. The moves follow the capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro last week and claims that the U.S. also wants to control Greenland. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
U.S. forces this morning seized 2 tankers linked to sanctioned Venezuelan oil. An operation in the Caribbean captured the Sophia, and a separate one in the North Atlantic secured the Bella 1.
Understand, they are not generating any revenue from their oil right now. They can't move it unless we allow it to move, because we have sanctions, because we're enforcing those sanctions.
The U.S. had been tracking the Bella 1 from the Caribbean since December. The ship is now known as the Marinera and claims to be sailing under a Russian flag.
Literally got out a bucket of paint, painted a new flag on the side, said we're no longer a Venezuelan vessel, we're something else, right? That's not the laws of the sea.
These latest seizures come as the Trump administration focuses on Venezuelan oil following the raid to capture Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro. In a social media post Tuesday, President Trump said interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil to be sold at market prices. Some U.S. lawmakers have questioned the administration's focus on oil and whether there's a long-term plan for Venezuela.
This is all about the oil. And their new policy is might makes right. If we want it, we'll get it, and we'll use our military to accomplish that.
Trump administration officials are briefing all lawmakers on the Venezuela raid today and also facing new questions about claims the U.S. wants to take over Greenland.
There is still so many unanswered questions. I hope we get some answers today.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president is discussing a range of options and utilizing the U.S. military is always one of them.
The U.S. always has military options for everything. I think it's a general statement. I think with Greenland, it's very clear that we are working on through diplomatic channels.
Sources tell CBS News that Secretary of State Marco Rubio, during an earlier congressional briefing, said President Trump would buy Greenland, not take it by force.
Now, Greenland has its own parliament, but is a Danish territory. The foreign ministers for Denmark and Greenland have requested a meeting with Secretary of State Rubio in Washington, D.C.